By some, he's been called controversial.
I'll keep my freedom, I'll keep my guns, try to keep my money and my religion too.
Now, keep in mind that some of my guests have been approached by, Homeland Security or FBI saying, why are you going on the Clay Douglas show?
My message to those guys, if they're listening this morning, is go get a cup of coffee. Maybe you'll learn something.
We both took the same oath, to defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. I don't recall there being an expiration date on that.
I'm gonna keep my big VA, keep my friends the same, keep the government out of my business, and y'all can keep the change.
He is the free American, Clay Douglas.
We know what we need, we know who to blame.
Catch the Free American Hour, weekdays at 7 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Eastern.
I'll keep the USA and y'all can keep the change.
For the podcast and more details, visit www.freeamerican.com or catch the podcast by phone by calling 832-999-8621.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of the Free American Hour. I'm your host, Clay Douglas. My guest today is Paul Topete. He's the head of Pokerface, lead guitar, songwriter. How are you, Paul?
I'm doing pretty good, Clay. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well, sir. We've been seeing each other for a lot of years, haven't we? I remember meeting you at the Preparedness Expos, and you've been doing this for a while.
Been writing political music since '94, and when I met you, we had at least been in touch with each other before we actually met face to face, but we're still not free yet, Clay, so I guess we're still going to keep at this until we put these criminals in D.C. in jail and the bankers that own them.
Well, it's exactly right. I just had a customs agent over, and he's been targeted. Just had him on. He's been targeted. I've been targeted, and what really bothers me. Like I said, we've known each other for a long time. We've been doing the same thing, and we saw the pretenders come and go, the Bogreitzes out there that tried to capitalize off the Patriot movement, but they were, two sides to the story, right? You can say Bogreitz rescued Randy Weaver, but you can also say that Bogreitz arrested Randy Weaver for the FBI to calm things down.
True story.
I've got. It's like I'm almost under attack all of the time. Somebody finds something that I do wrong. Well, Clay, you'd just do so much better off if you wouldn't talk about marijuana or the Jews. You can talk about the government. That's okay. You can talk about the government. Alex Jones can talk about the government, so you can talk about the government.
Clay.
Yes.
Clay, Jews and marijuana, they're synonymous for the reason that if something doesn't make sense, then some Jews making a buttload of money off of it, and that's the main reason why weed is legal, because you and I can grow it for ourselves and won't contribute any more of our monies to the distillery owned by the Jews that make all the alcohol for the goy. That's right.
And it's certainly a prohibition. And Ayn Rand had it absolutely right. I got a problem with your microphone there. You got your microphone's breaking up. What's going on? Got it?
Yeah, okay. Is that better?
Yeah, that's better. That's better. I did a talk now on my book, Mystery Babylon. The New World Order unveiled 2,000 years ago. The Bible told us of the coming of the New World Order as the eighth beast, the mark of the beast, and warned us about the Jews who say they're Jews but are not. Jesus told us that they were liars and of their father Satan. In this book, the past meets the future. Now, I was told, I went to speak in a library, and the woman told me, well, Clay, you can't use the word Jew in your lecture. You can call them Zionist. That's okay. But you can't call them a Jew. Now, why I mean, the only logical answer you can come up with is your rulers don't want you to know who they are. The emperor has no clothes, and they don't want you to know about it, do they?
Well, you know what kills me is all the Jews have to do is change their name in whatever political ideology they're pushing at the time, and the rest of us get all discombobulated. It's like before they were Zionists, they were Jews. Before they were Bolsheviks, they were Jews. Before they were communists, they were Jews. Before they were slave traders, they were Jews. Before they were carpetbaggers, they were Jews. Keep going through history. When we learned our history classes, they never taught us it was the Jew. Okay? They gave us different names for them, so we'd be like, it's all these different groups. No, it's all the same group throughout the centuries.
And when they captured one of them with the protocols on them, you know, and that got out, we did have a printing press. For a long time, we couldn't read the Bible. Now let me ask you. Now here's something here. Now everything you just said is fact. But if we talk about it, somehow we're going to be called anti-Semitic, and people are scared to death of being called anti-Semitic, aren't they?
Yeah, and I think until Americans, especially the white Christian male, rises up and gets his stones back, we're going to continue being the slave of the Jews, okay? So people need to be fearless. Their words. Didn't you learn back in school when you were in grade school, sticks and stones can break your bones, but words can never hurt you? Man up, please.
That's right. That's right. And you know, because I'm talking, you know, people find some reason to get mad. I mean, a lot of it's just rumors, you know, or, you know, Clay selling that book to raise money for a snitch named Huevos. You know, and suddenly somebody that sent me a donation that I think's my friend. I mean, I think they're my friend. I mean, they've been listening to me for a year. Suddenly, they are yelling at me because I said something, or somebody else said something that they didn't really agree with or didn't like. And I said the Constitution really covers you if you're Jewish, you know. And Alex Jones is married to a Jew. She's a beautiful lady. He's got children that are Jewish. I don't wish any harm to come to any of them. But
he just needs to get out of the truth movement, man.
But you know, if he is protecting, if he's a part of a counterintelligence operation, and he's got links to it.
What's Stratfor? Plus the sponsors.
And the sponsors that won't talk to me. Nobody wants to talk to me. Nobody wants to advertise with Clay because, why? Because I point these people out. Now I said the problem we've got is how do we fight evil without becoming evil? And that, to me, that is the lesson that we should have got from Christianity, that we should have got from Jesus. He didn't kill nobody. He didn't do nothing wrong. He didn't do anything. He just ran the money changers out of the temple, which we ought to be doing today.
Yeah, and brother, I got a 5-finger solution for that. Okay, when it comes to the international banking Jew, arrest him, seize his assets, forfeiture his assets, try him before a court of law like in Nuremberg 2, since we know that was such a show trial, and then 5, let the cards fall where they may if they're found guilty.
Absolutely. I agree. You know, I mean, I have never advocated. They'll tell you I started the militias, right? Oh, Clay Douglas started the militia. I damn sure did. I did it in the governor's office. As a matter of fact, we just passed a law here for the State Defense Force. Same thing as the militia. A little bit more organized. But we got a State Defense Force here. A law just got passed. So I didn't do anything wrong. What part of the Second Amendment don't they understand?
Oh, they understand it perfectly clear, brother. That's why they fear it. Hands in the guns of the people, the government fears us. If it's the other way around, then we're indentured servitude or slaves.
Yeah, slaves aren't, they don't want you to own guns, do they? And you know, now you also approach something else. I just had a lady tell me, well, Clay, I've tried to tell people about your books. You know, my Mystery Babylon book has a whole history of the Rothschild. It has the CIA, Mossad, Israeli drug running. They ran all the cocaine in here. They're running all the heroin in here. They're selling it to you. Their agents, illegal aliens, like our president, are selling it to you so they can arrest you, put you in jail, fine you, and, ooh, you're a felon now, man. Ooh, you can't own guns. Ooh, you can't vote. Ooh, you're really enslaved now.
I call those paper criminals, man.
And we don't have any law enforcement. I just had a customs agent, and he worked for the Secret Service, and they're prosecuting him. They're prosecuting Border Patrol agents that actually try to stop the drugs from coming in the border. And it's really simple. I came up with the answer over 40 years ago. Abolish all laws against victimless crimes. And if you want to go sit over there, you want to go out to the Mexican neighborhood and score some heroin, and just go over in that corner there and kill yourself, so you don't cause any problems.
Yeah.
Now, if we abolish, and this is what I wrote a book about 40 years ago. If you abolish all the laws against victimless crimes, you don't have the cost of enforcement. You don't have the cost of police agency. You don't have a police state. Anytime somebody can walk up to you and say, "What's that you got in your pocket, son?" You are in a police state. And you've got a song out called Gasoline. Gasoline. And my friend, Jack Hara, who I financed while he was writing Emperor Wears No Clothes. You know, he said hemp could save the world. And by the way, folks, Jack Hara was Jewish, and we were friends for years and years and years. And he told you the truth in Emperor Wears No Clothes. So we've got to, I've been telling people the truth. If we stopped all the laws, abolished all the laws against victimless crimes, and Ron Paul would do that. Ron Paul says the drug war is a farce, and we shouldn't be in a drug war.
That's why they blacklist them and do vote fraud against them.
That's right. That's right. And, if he got to be president, they would try to kill him, I believe.
Yeah. A couple other things with the legalization of all drugs. You would no longer have corruption of the justice system. And you'd also be defunding the prison industrial complex, which uses prisoners as slave labor. Keeps the cost of drugs high, keeps us buying pharmaceutical drugs that are more poisonous to your health to accomplish most of your needs. Most of the big sellers out there, the Prozacs, the Ritalin, the Zolofts, the Xanax, the Paxils, all that mind-altering crap that all these people need are a good marijuana brownie, man.
They tried to drug me, and they're doing this to everybody. This is not just me here. If they get somebody in a hospital, they drug them, right? My mother got out of triple bypass surgery. They put her in a little nursing home, and I went in, and she couldn't even talk to me. She was drooling. And I went to the doctor, and I said, "This ain't from the heart attack. What's going on here?" "Oh, well, we just keep them drugged.
Well, back in 2003, the two Jewish doctors that were in control of my dad's life tried to murder him with prednisone. And I believe that many of the elderly in the hospitals that are dying before their time, they're being murdered by these doctors using the drugs like cortisone and prednisone, all the zones out there. And that should be looked into, because I'm sure there's it's a killing machine in the hospitals. That's why we call it the medical death cartel.
They kept me drugged for 3 months. Ran up a $750,000 hospital bill. Kept me on Halcyon, Haldol, Valium, and morphine for 3 months. I think the only mistake they made was thinking they could overdose Clay Douglas.
Yeah, didn't they know that you have high tolerance and stuff, because
I do have a bit of a tolerance. And, I walked out of the hospital, man, and they said, "Oh, be sure he takes this Depakote. Oh, give him this Depakote." I said, "No, thanks. I read the contraindications on it. I'm going to pass on that. Thank you anyway." But, the only thing I need, a joint and a Harley, get out of my way.
Yeah, brother. But see, that doesn't cost you much because you can plan it yourself and not spend any more of your shekels into the Jewish program of taking all your money.
That's right. That's right. It's all, and the gasoline too. I mean, you know, I said the reason I think that the UFO, and I'm dealing with that in my next book, because I think there's such a thing as UFOs. I just don't think they're from another planet. I think they've been here for 10,000 years.
I look at them as interdimensional beings because they violate the laws of gravity and a few other flesh, requirements. I've seen 3 of them in my lifetime, Clay. I saw them when I was 8 years old in Mexico, in Guadalajara, my late 20s in Allentown, and in my late 30s in West Palm Beach. But do I believe that they're space buddies? No. Do I know that they're demonic? Yes, because the channelers, those that talk to the dead that they're not supposed to because they're basically talking to demons, channel the space buddies. Now, how would a space buddy know to channel with some Satanist here on planet Earth? It doesn't happen. So you know that it's a demonic, angelic realm that, they're being dealt with. So.
Well, the Bible's told us, and Jesus told us that we're in a battle of principalities. And the things that are happening, all of the negative things that are happening here, these are engineered, these are structured. Somebody's motivated to do something negative, to try to bring somebody down.
If it doesn't make sense, you know what the rest says. Doesn't have to be this way, Clay. I've seen heaven, man. Father showed me and shared it with me, and I wrote a song about it with the band. It's on our 4th disc, Made in America. And where brother loves brother. Think of how much we could get done because we trust each other right from the get-go instead of building 20 years of a friendship to finally trust an individual. You could build lives, you could build families, you could build societies, you could build communities, you could build nations. And you know what kills me about this whole, being called an anti-Semite or a hater or racist or anti-multiculturalist? I'm the one that is for keeping the cultures. I'm one that wants the borders in place because it keeps the cultures in place. I like Mexicans to stay Mexican. I don't need them to have 7-Elevens and Wally Worlds and, Kentucky Fried Chickens. They need to just stay Mexican. And America doesn't need the Southwest Latinized. There's already enough Latinized countries here in the Western Hemisphere. Same thing with Canada. It doesn't need to have an influx of Chinese. Pretty soon it's going to be another Asian nation over here.
Why should, if a black man can join the NAACP, if a Jew can join the ADL or
APAC
or whatever, and why can't white men join the Aryan nations? Why can't white men have white pride? Why can't we have pride in our race? Because we built every civilization out there.
Because the Jew is fearful of the whites getting organized because we might actually stop the criminality. Because we're the one group that they fear the most. Well,
people have asked me, why do you hate Jews, Clay? And my response has been pretty standard. I said, I don't hate Jews. Lady next door.
Criminality.
The lady next door, man, that may be Jewish. I've never walked up and asked anybody are you Jewish? Their actions usually tell us.
Right, they bear fruits of criminality, man, and I can judge that.
I am against criminals. If I catch you robbing, trying to steal some lady's purse, I'll take you right down. I'll take you right down and I'll arrest you. I'll call the cops to come pick your ass up. So I just don't like criminals. You don't steal from me. You don't take from somebody else. That's the Christian way. Now the Christianity has been taken over, and I'm asking myself in my new book, Paul, how far back does this Jewish control of the media go? What if the Jewish God, and they say they worship Lucifer, they say they worship the devil, they say Jesus told us they worship the devil, their father was the devil. How far back does that go in our Bible? Is the Bible prophecy or is it a plan?
It's prophecy, but the devil also knows this story from the get-go, so he and his progeny are doing the best that they can to fulfill the negative part of that prophecy.
And the Bible's really giving us a way into it. Now, I always got to put in a word for Liberty Villages. It probably, I don't know whether it's going to happen or not. I don't know whether it's going to happen or not. But it's a way to survive. I ask myself, how did you survive? How did we survive 100 years ago, 1,000 years ago? How did we survive? And I feel like if we get low-cost structures that we don't have to pay a bank, $300,000 for over 30 years in interest, and we grow our own food and generate our own energy from everything God gave us, why do we have to have a wind farm out on the desert? Why don't we have a windmill on our roof? Yeah. Oh, it doesn't have a meter. It's got to have a meter. We got to have a meter. We got to put a meter on your well. And I guess this is the Jewish thing, And I said, do I hate Jews? No, I don't hate Jews. I kind of admire them. If us white boys had it as together as they do, we'd own the Federal Reserve, we'd own the Bank of England, we'd own the International Monetary Fund.
Would we? Because really, that's not a Christian way of going about it.
No, actually, you're right. You're right. We probably wouldn't because we wouldn't be charging usury. The Bible warns you about the usury.
You know what my solution for that whole credit thing is to create county credit unions. I've been a member of a credit union for over 25 years. I love the credit union. I don't get harassed with fees for everything I do for them having my money in their bank. So county credit unions, they reinvest in companies that move into the county, that want to grow. If you're the little mom and pop shop, you're going to get the money before a franchise like a Pizza Slut or something like that. So, county credit unions, it's the future.
Well, we need to, that's decentralized control. If the town, now Ithaca, New York, that's over in your area. Ithaca, New York is a good example. They started issuing their own money. The whole town was trading in Ithaca hours.
Love it. Yeah, I remember meeting the guy at one of the America Free Press events. I believe he came down and spoke at.
Now tell me about your band. Now you've been doing protest rock. Your song Gasoline. Maybe I'll try to find that, play that, huh?
That'd be cool.
Let's see if I got.
Gasoline was written so that the common man can understand that you could turn hemp into fuel. You could turn hemp into a lot of things, but we don't need to be turning corn into fuel when you can be doing it with hemp. And hemp doesn't tax the soil, it puts nutrients back into the soil. And the song is basically an easy way to teach our fellow brothers that there are better ways out there than the hydrocarbon monopolists out there. It's time for the carbohydrate farmers to come forward and, be the economic vehicle, the economic engine of each county that they used to be. Now they've impoverished them where they're barely getting by each year. Give them the cash crop that they can finally survive and thrive.
Okay, I'm looking for where do I find that music under the music tab on your page?
Yeah, no, we don't have Gasoline up. Let me send you a link where you can find it.
Okay.
Yeah, just keep talking, man.
Okay. The book I wrote 40 years ago was about hemp being legal. Marijuana, no crime, no laws against victimless crime. Some of my guests, Louis Ewing, says that that it's not illegal. I mean, there's no way the Constitution can allows you to do that. You can't make a law against a plant God gave us. All right, what am I doing here? Let me see here. All right, let's listen to this, and then we'll take a quick break. Paul Topete is my guest today, and this band is Pokerface.
Pokerface.com.
Pokerface.com. And the links are all up on my website.
One thing I got to say, Clay, in terms of this whole anti-Semite stuff, Americans are getting a little bolder. At least they're calling out the Zionists. They're halfway there. And I've seen the youth start to wake up more than any group because they know that their future is screwed. And they're actually looking into who's doing the screwing. And there's enough of us out there that are there with the information about the international banking Jew and who he controls and what resources they own, that they're getting the picture. And